It was 1963 at the University of Washington. A young woman was walking across an open field carrying her books when her steps suddenly stopped. Ahead of her stood a young man moving in ways she had never seen before. His hands sliced through the air, his feet seemed to float above the ground, and there was a fire in his eyes that Linda Emery noticed at first glance, and carried with her forever. That day, Linda told her friend, "There's something different about this man." Her friend simply smiled, because she knew those words were more than admiration, they were the first confession of a heart. After that, Linda made a decision. She enrolled in the young man's Kung Fu class. Bruce Lee was teaching martial arts at the university, and Linda became his student. In class, she appeared to be learning martial arts, but in truth, she was studying a person. Bruce Lee's way of teaching was different. He did not just teach punches and kicks, he taught people how to think, how to live. Linda later said, "He was incredibly dynamic. From the very first meeting, I thought, this man is truly something else." Slowly, conversations after class turned into tea, then long walks, and one day Linda realized she had fallen in love with her teacher. This love was not easy, it was a challenge. In the 1960s, interracial marriage in America was still viewed with hostility in many places. A relationship between a Chinese man and a white American woman required courage and stubborn love. There were questions from family members, judgment from society, and silent disapproval from the world, the kind that hurts more than words. But Bruce Lee was born to break barriers, both in the ring and in life. They kept their wedding ceremony small, with only a few close people present and no photographers, just 2 hearts and 1 promise. On August 17, 1964, Bruce Lee and Linda Emery became one. Bruce and Linda began their married life in Seattle. They lived in a small apartment, a simple life, but carried a big dream. Bruce Lee woke up early every morning to train, read books, write, and think, while Linda quietly handled everything that turned a house into a home. In 1965, their first son, Brandon Lee, was born, and in 1969, their daughter Shannon Lee came into the world. Those were the days when Bruce Lee was not yet famous. Money was limited, and the future was uncertain, but the house was filled with love. Linda never complained. She had made Bruce's dream her own. Then came the day when everything changed. The entire family packed their belongings and moved to Hong Kong. Bruce Lee had been given an opportunity there, and he refused to let it slip away. For Linda, life in Hong Kong was not easy. There was a new language, a new culture, and unfamiliar customs, but she never allowed herself to waver in her love for Bruce. Then, in 1971, the film The Big Boss shook Hong Kong, and Bruce Lee became a star overnight. The world now knew him, but Linda had known him long before fame, when he was nobody. And that is the difference between true love and everything else. Then came the day that is painful even to imagine. On July 20th, 1973, Bruce Lee, only 32 years old and at the peak of his career, suddenly passed away due to a reaction to medication. Linda was just 28 years old at the time, a mother of 2 children, and her entire world shattered in a single moment. For the world, it was the fall of a star. For Linda, it was the loss of the man who was the light of her life, the father of her children, the voice that filled their home. The media spread rumors and endless speculation, but Linda remained silent and strong. Grief did not destroy Linda, it made her stronger. She returned to her studies, completed her degree, and raised her children alone. She published Bruce Lee's writings, kept his teachings alive, and in 1975 wrote a book titled Bruce Lee, The Man Only I Knew. Later, in 1993, that book inspired the film Dragon, the Bruce Lee story. Linda showed the world a Bruce Lee who did not exist on stage, but at home, a husband, a father, a dreamer. And that was something only she could do, because only she had truly known him. But fate, perhaps, believed one wound was not enough. On March 31st, 1993, Brandon Lee, the son of Bruce and Linda, died at the age of 28 after being accidentally shot by a prop gun during the filming of The Crow. Linda endured the pain no mother should ever have to bear, losing a son after already losing her husband. The world thought this tragedy would finally break her, but Linda remembered Bruce Lee's words, "Be like water, flow with whatever comes." And so she continued flowing forward, carrying the pain, but never stopping. Today, Linda Lee Cadwell works alongside her daughter Shannon to run the Bruce Lee Foundation. She is still alive, still dedicated to carrying Bruce Lee's legacy to future generations. Linda's story is not simply the story of Bruce Lee's wife. It is the story of a woman who chose love when love was difficult, who stayed when staying was not easy, and who refused to break when life tried to shatter her not once, but twice. The world made Bruce Lee its hero, but Linda had made him hers long before that. And in every great story, the strongest character is often the one standing quietly in the background, giving someone else the courage to fly.